9 engines on Falcon 9 rocket, that is why it's called Falcon 9. When they ignite, it is such a powerful event that everything that I thought I knew, all my experience, it just flew right out of the window. I forgot everything. Even my basic checks and procedures that I was supposed to do, I just got lost. And to the kids, when I, tell them, analogies work very well. So to the kids, when I'm talking, I like to say that when you prepare for your exams, you feel confident. But when you see the question paper, the feeling that you get is something similar. जो कुछ भी आता है, याद है, सब भूल जाते हैं. तो वैसे ही कुछ था. But it is a very powerful and very dynamic phase of the flight, because you are going from 0 kilometers per hour to almost 28,500 kilometers per hour in about 8.5 minutes. Now these are numbers I had never seen, in spite of flying. You're talking about 28,500 kilometers per hour. What does that even mean? Traveling at 8 kilometers per second. This is phenomenal. But when you feel it, your body feels it, it is a very powerful feeling, sustained for about 8.5 minutes. And what happens is, with all this dynamism, you are excited, everybody is kind of, on the verge of screaming, and you're really excited, sitting on a very, very fast roller coaster, if you would like to say that. And then you reach orbit, your second stage, it cuts off. And the minute it does, absolute silence. You are in microgravity. And microgravity shows itself in many forms, but the one very visible thing is, or feeling is, you are sitting on the seat throughout your launch, but the minute that second stage shuts off, you start, gradually lifting up, slowly. You are not sitting on the seat anymore, even though you are strapped. You lift up, your hands start coming up, your legs start coming up. And that is your first taste of microgravity. And from that point of time, next few days are, completely different, completely new challenge for you, for your body, because it has never seen this environment. Everything changes. A few things that happen readily is that your sense of orientation, it goes away. Right now, even though it is very dark, I know I can't see all of you. But if I was to ask you where is up, where is down, where is left, where is right, you don't have to look at things. You would tell me, this is up, this is down. Because this is how we stand, this is how we sit. If you're doing a handstand also, you would still be able to tell what is up, what is down, because of the effort that it takes. But in space, it is not so. You can be upside down, but you wouldn't know, because for your body, nothing is up, nothing is down. So your sense of orientation goes away completely. It is very disorienting. But the second thing is, space is also a lot of fun, because movement becomes very fluid, very easy. You can do, even if you don't know how to do it, you can do somersaults, you can do backflips, you can do whatever you want. You're essentially floating in air. There is nothing stopping you, no restraint. So it is a lot of fun. And the concept of space itself, we like to call ourselves three-dimensional beings, but we are essentially not three-dimensional. Look at this room itself. It is a three-dimensional room. But all of us are sitting on chairs and sofas, walking on ground. I'm standing here on stage. I'm not standing on the wall, right? Not standing on the ceiling, talking to you upside down. But it is possible, and we have done that. From space, you can do it. You can hang from upside down from the ceiling. You can sit on the wall. You can choose to be anywhere. That is complete utilization of space. But your mind doesn't know that when you get to space. That is why it is different. It is strange. So I remember my first day in space. Station is made up of modules, huge modules, cylindrical in shape. And I was supposed to go from one module to the other module, and there was a NASA astronaut right in the center of this module working on one of our experiments. And I had to cross to the other side. And I saw her, there was no space. It was a big setup. So I sat down and I was waiting. And this other astronaut comes to me and she says, Shuks, what are you doing? I said, I want to cross, but I cannot, because she's in the way. And this astronaut, she starts laughing. She holds my hand, takes me to the ceiling, and tells me, walk here. And that is the time I realized, these constraints that we have, that we carry with ourselves, into space, they don't work there anymore. So that day I decided, each day I will nominate one side of the station. So let's say today is the day of walking on ceilings. So I will walk only on ceilings and I will not walk anywhere else. I will walk only on walls, not anywhere else. And it became a fun activity that we kept on doing, later on. The other interesting thing that happens in space is the, lack of gravity, I would say. It is not that gravity is not there, I'm sure all of you would know this. But because we are in a free fall around Earth, you are constantly falling. So you don't feel gravity. Everything is falling. Not just you, the station is falling, everything inside the station, every equipment, everything is falling at the same pace. So you don't feel anything falling relatively. So if I was holding this mic in space and I let it go, it will stay here. It will not fall. But your mind doesn't know that. Again, same, you're going from Earth. So I was so hesitant to let go of things that in the initial few days, I would seek out someone if I had to leave something and do some work. Can you please hold it for me? I would search for someone and ask them, can you please hold it for me? And I had also first-time flyers from Poland and Hungary. उनके मन में भी यही चल रहा है. They are also going like me and they are also thinking the same things. So they would also hold it and stand next to me or stand here, float next to me. So imagine, हम दोनों हवा में हैं. We are all in air. The mic is also in air. Everything is in air. But he is holding and he is standing right next to you for you to finish something and then take it. It takes some time for your mind to realize that this is okay. You can let go of things. Look at this video that I have. I'm going to be changing lenses on camera. Everything is floating. See, nothing is going to fall. So how many of you felt when I was leaving that camera for the first time, कि अब ये गिर जाएगा? So you get that feeling even when you are sitting on ground and looking at this video. But after 7-8 days, in space, you really become comfortable with this idea. It is okay, nothing is going to drop, nothing is going to fall. And then you are leaving stuff all the time, performing your experiments, your activities and everything you are doing. And it becomes a norm. The problem happens that with this notion, you come back to Earth. And this doesn't work here. I remember the first evening I came back, I was replying to a lot of emails that had come. बहुत सारे emails थे, and at one point of time I really got frustrated. I wanted to rest. So out of the frustration, I was sitting on my bed on one side, on the laptop. I closed my laptop, took it to the side, I left it. Now you can imagine what happened. It was not space, not microgravity. It was a very quick lesson. Situations are different, scenarios are different, so it will not work. But what I also realized is that your mind is a very powerful tool. It makes you believe things which are not necessarily true, not necessarily happening around you. And also I have given you a very peculiar example of a physical phenomenon, gravity being there and not being there. But it works for other situations as well in life. If you believe something, really believe something, everything will conspire to make it happen for you. If you believe it in your mind. That is the power that you hold within yourself. You don't have to look elsewhere. It is within you, your mind. And it is a very, very strong power that you have. Please learn to cultivate that. The second interesting thing that happens in space is the concept of weightlessness. There is no weight in space. That is why a station could be built. Because the huge structures that we have could not all be launched together at the beginning. It was assembled in space. So one module was sent at one time, some equipment was sent at some other time, so gradually everything was sent, and then astronauts could fix them in space because there is no weight. Now I can lift a heavy object with just my 2 fingers. It is not difficult to do. You have to be mindful of the momentum, but weight, there is no concept of weight in space. And a lot of people I have met, ever since I have come back, comment very wryly to me that I think we are made for space. because we can eat as much as we want and we will never weigh anything. But this concept, to highlight or to show to you this concept, how easy it is, I'll demonstrate to you through a video. This lady you see in this video was my commander on my mission, Dr. Peggy Whitson. She is the most experienced American astronaut today, male or female. She has spent almost 695 days in space. And we used to joke that, she breaks the record of some of the satellites that were launched by NASA. That's the kind of experience that she has. But look how she will move. Look at the size of the bag. It is bigger, almost 1.5 times the size of her size. And how easily she is able to move it around and, just taking it. She has to be mindful of the momentum, but it is easy to move it. And I will let you guess what is inside the bag that is so heavy. This is known as a CTB 10.0 cargo transfer bag. And she is going to move it. I'll let you guess what is inside, which is that heavy. We don't have audio on this. That's about 250, 260 kgs of weight right there in that bag. But it highlights how easy, how fluid the movement is. And it has one of the key traits that allowed us to make this station in the first place. And all these were critical learnings for us because we are already in the process of designing our own space station now, the Bharati Antariksh Station. The work has already started. So all this that we have learned is helping us a lot to figure out the strategy of how do we want to make it, how do we want to assemble these things, and how do we want to set it up. When you reach the environment of microgravity for the first time, your body has never seen this, so it kind of really rebels. There is nothing pulling down. So all the blood, all the fluid from your legs, it shifts up, it goes to your head. Your head becomes bigger. You look at the image on the right, in this on the screen that I am showing. You see my head, it is much bigger. And it's not because you are an astronaut and you've gone to space. It's because there is literally blood that has traveled up to your head. It swells up. There is something known